Hey guys, it's Phil here. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to build me a $1 million per year cleaning business, and I'm going to see based on my experience how it did and to see if you guys should follow it. So, if you don't know my story, I've grown a cleaning business to over $15 million in revenue. Started when I was 19 with my best friend. First full year in business, we did like 950K about there. I remember we were about $50,000 short from our first 1 million per year. Then the next year we did over 2 million, so we more than doubled. So you can reach a successful business fairly quickly. Let's see what it's going to tell us here, and I'm going to tell you if this is a good idea or not. So business model, marketplace, you sell cleaners fulfill 1099 model. Fantastic. Okay, this is actually very good because 1099s is how you do it. I know a lot of cleaning owners will disagree. They, even the ones that are huge, right, that are doing millions in revenue, they'll say no, it's only employees. 1099s is not a good model. But I disagree, because how can you argue with somebody, and I see this across many different industries, how can you argue if somebody literally has 5 out of 5 star rating based on 1,000 reviews, or near 5 out of 5 star rating? You can't say that an employee is going to be better because this person's already getting the best of the best reviews. And if you're that person, and this is how we do it, and this is how a lot of people do it, if you're only keeping these highest rated providers on your platform, whether it's an employee or a 1099, it doesn't matter. And what's nice with 1099s is that they're easier to work with, okay, when you find the right ones. And that usually takes some time. So this is a fantastic advice. It is actually telling you to start the easier way, and I would stick with this. You keep 20 to 40% margins. I would say later you want to drop it down because you could still find it. But at the beginning, this is good advice because it's going to create less problems if you pay more, because it will attract a better talent. Okay, it's going to open up the pool. So this is good. Core focus, reoccurring residential cleaning only, and don't focus on one time cleans. Very, very amazing advice right there. So the business plan is 10 out of 10 right there. It definitely tells you the right business model to start with and to focus on reoccurring cleanings, which makes the business easier to scale, and it makes it's worth a lot more when you are going to sell the business. Okay, to pricing, charge based on beds, condition, not hourly. Fantastic advice. Hourly just locks you in, and it allows for the cleaners to take advantage of you. So, and also it's better for the cleaners as well, because the faster ones make more money because they could do more jobs and they don't have to work per hour. So this is actually very good. That's how you want to do it. The target, I don't know about the averages here. That doesn't sound right, but that doesn't really matter here. Non-negotiable. Okay, that's right. 3 channels that matter. Okay, if we're talking about the start here, this I wouldn't say is the best advice with Google Ads, because yes, it's a very good channel, but it depends how much money you have. Because if you don't have a lot of money and you don't have any experience, if you start with Google Ads, that might not get you anywhere. Especially, if you even crack Google Ads and you get 3 clients and then you can't keep them because your business model is broken, you haven't figured out the numbers, you haven't gotten good providers yet, then you're just blowing money, right? So I would say first start with something free, learn the business model, and then go to Google Ads as your second source. And then you should be fine. Google business profile, reviews equals everything. 100%, 10 out of 10. Google business profile, absolutely. Reviews equals everything. Local SEO pages, long-term scale. Yes, you have to do your research about SEO because this is a very broad topic. I would say this is good or bad depending on the location. So this definitely didn't go far enough. This is your coach. Okay, so referrals, simple offers, yes, this is good to have. You absolutely want to do this. Paid social scale lever, not starting point. So again, this is kind of what I touched base on before. This only works after you understand your numbers. So see, look at that. Google Ads should be kind of the same thing. You should first understand a little bit about your numbers, a little bit about the back end of your business, and then you will go ahead and leverage that the paid sources to accelerate growth. That's how you do it, okay? Hiring strategies start with 1099s, faster onboarding, good, okay, great. What to look for? Experience over personality. Yes, but no. So if there's no personality, or if there's no experience, you definitely don't want that. I'd rather have experience than great personality. But I think personality is the thing that takes you over the edge, because if somebody's looking forward to having that person back, and they're looking literally like, wow, I can't wait to have them back, they're so friendly, they talk to me, this and that, and you have the combination of experience and personality, that goes into stickiness of clients, and they will stick more, right? They want you, they will never ever look for anybody else. The two are a winning combo. But yes, technically correct, experience over personality if you can only have one. Systems always be recruiting. Yes, this is another thing that people don't understand. Um, I have enough, I have enough cleaners, so I'm going to stop hiring. Wrong, because next week 2 or 3 of them may leave, and now you are saying no to bookings. You always need to be hiring, and you always need to be looking at who's the worst. They are leaving my service. They're leaving. I don't want them, because technically it's who is the best, and you keep the best, right? So if you find new cleaners and these are now better, and now the lowest one, that's the person that gets the least jobs. And you always have to be looking for the best A team. Like I said, your platform, whatever it may be, needs to be 5 out of 5, not just in the cleaning industry, but in any industry. 5 out of 5, near 5 out of 5 rating for every single service provider. That's how you stay winning. Okay. Okay, biggest mistakes, waiting too long to charge real prices. I agree, because you should always be competitive with your pricing on your website. But, and some people will say, well, how can I compete with somebody that's been in business with 10, 20 years? How can I have the same pricing? It's fine, because you could still attract new customers with coupons in your ads if you're really scared. But you want to actually put prices that are competitive on your website, trying to build a brand instead of getting bookings. No one cares about your logo, they care about speed, price, availability. This is probably where I would disagree. I think building a brand is literally the focus for any kind of business. That should be literally printed on your wall. And just because of this, I would probably say this was not good advice. Okay, I'm not going to take it there, because everything here has been pretty good advice. But this part here, I'll tell you why this is important. Building a brand, when you put something like that on your wall, you're literally going to ask the question every time you do something in your business: is this good for my brand, or is this bad for my brand? And if you say it's bad for the brand, possibly bad for the brand, it makes it an easy decision not to do it. And here's where a lot of things go wrong. So sometimes you business owners, and even sometimes people that make quite a bit of money, usually not people that make 1 million or more, because they understand this concept, but the beginners and people that are making less will say, well, this person's asking for a refund because this happened, they want $100. No chance I'm giving that money. Bad. There is a chance they're going to leave a review. Why would you risk that over $100 when you're making millions? It makes no sense, right? Even if you're making 20K per month or 10K per month, doesn't matter. You do not risk that, because that is what building a brand stands for. You want to limit, getting bad exposure as much as possible, so that, over the years you take advantage of the brand. And building a brand long term, this is where you get rewarded. A lot of people think short term, and they never figure out how to leverage the brand to make the big, big, big bucks. Okay. And one example I can give you is, if you take two businesses, one that's not building a brand and one is winning on just bookings alone, the problem's going to be that the one that's building a brand, they could turn off ads and they could still be in business, remain at the same revenue, maybe go down a little bit, but still be doing good. While the other one, you turn off the ad spend, you don't get bookings, their revenue is going to drop significantly. That's huge, okay? Especially if things like recessions and all that stuff, that's when a lot of people go out of business. So this is important. 3, hiring employees too early, okay? So we talked about this. I would probably never even hire them. Overcomplicating marketing, you don't need 10 channels. Absolutely true. You could literally build millions of dollars um, just off of one channel. I wouldn't recommend that, but I would focus at least two or three just in case something happens to the one. So you need Google reviews, referrals. I would say this is pretty true, except at the beginning, figure out how to do this without Google while you're still looking into investing in Google and leveraging long term. Five, not pushing reoccurring hard enough. That's key. Every phone call, every conversation, you push for reoccurrings. Okay, reality check, what gets you to 1 million? Okay, not complicated. So that we're not even going to critique. Okay, so I would say that this is not bad advice. I would say this is actually very good advice and better than majority of consultants or marketing people that you guys are going to hire, because they'll craft you random different plans that won't make sense. But this plan is actually good though. So I'll give this an 8 out of 10 because of the branding point. I think the branding point, if they got that and said focus on branding while you're getting as many bookings as possible, that would have been the better phrase. And then this would have been pretty much a 10 out of 10 business plan. So again, this was kind of a big point right there about the branding, because that's a huge one. That 2 out of 10 was definitely subtracted because of that one. Overall, 8 out of 10. I would think this is pretty solid advice.